All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about marketing and advertising, especially for my personal business that I started in 2021. It's not my first business in the industry. I've actually grown and sold previous 2 businesses before that. And I used that experience to start one in 2021. Our first official year was actually in 2022. We did $417,000 in our first year. We had 560 jobs. And I want to talk to you about how we were able to accomplish that in the very first year. Those are big numbers for a first year business. And again, not by any luck or anything like that. Again, there's a lot of experience to go with that. Since then, we have 3 years in business. This is 2025. We're heading into our 4th year in business. It's a 7-figure business now. But I want to talk to you about what we did in our first year to be successful. You don't have to necessarily copy all this, but I hope that this does help you maybe open up your eyes to what's possible and, get some value from this. So let's get into it. So the reason for the success really is attract and fulfill. So the way that's the only way that we look at marketing and advertising for us is we attract leads, we attract clients, and then we fulfill them the right way, right? So we'll talk more about that. But the attitude going into the first year for us was happy to not have great margins in the first year or 2 in exchange for market share. So as you can imagine, we were walking into our first official year in 2022 with nothing. We had 0 clients, 0 repeat business. It's a brand new business, brand new marketing, brand new branding, brand new website, no SEO, brand new Google account. Everything was brand new. We literally started from scratch. We had nothing. And so my whole thought process behind this business is we're going to walk into the market and grab share, not really caring if we're going to break even or make money in our first year. And we'll talk more about that. But basically what that means is we're willing to spend a lot of money, in return, get a lot of leads, close a lot of jobs. But the thing for us was we were more than happy to spend a lot of money per lead because we're thinking about the future, right? So for us, if we spend, just take in the basic of numbers, if you did a job for $200, we were almost willing to spend that much money to acquire that client because we know that this year, yes, we're going to have to pay for that client with an advertising cost, but next year they're going to be free. So we were more than happy to, if this year we didn't make any profit, we just, all the money that we spent on marketing, all the money we spent on advertising, on branding, employees, all the systems, insurances, things like that. If we just broke even on that because we went crazy in the marketing, we just spent. If we went crazy, but we got 560 jobs out of it, which is 560 clients. Next year, those 560 clients are coming back to us because we were in the kind of business that has repeat clientele. They're going to come back to us free of charge. So we don't have to pay for any of those. So next year we can spend, again, a good amount of money, but we also have this list of people that are coming back. So that was a big thing for us. It's not the way that I operated in my first businesses. I was really scared to spend money. I'm not a huge advocate of spending a lot of money. This is not what this video is about, but it's just to give you an idea of what we were thinking, and maybe you can apply some of this into your own business. But in my first businesses, I wasn't spending that kind of money. I was growing really slowly. We were just kind of because it's scary if you are not spending money the right way because you can blow through a lot of cash. When I find an advertising channel that is profitable, I'll spend as much as possible. So the goal for the first year, especially in the beginning of the year, was to spend money on a lot of different channels of advertising. We'll talk about each one in order for us to find what's profitable. So if you keep your numbers, if you do your KPIs and you figure out, what you spent, what kind of return on ad spend you got, what kind of return on other marketing things that you're doing that you're receiving back, you can base your decisions based on that, what to cut and what to move forward with. So for us, once we found those channels, we doubled down, tripled down on those channels, and we just went crazy with it. I won't leave any stone unturned, no lead go to waste. So that's part of fulfillment for us. When a lead contacts us for work, we go through this whole thing. We'll talk about that in the fulfillment side of things, but we want to maximize every opportunity. So if we're spending money on leads, which for us could be anywhere from $40 to $60, $80, depending on the season, sometimes more than that, especially during Christmas lights. So pressure washing doesn't mean we just do pressure washing. For us, we did window cleaning, we did gutter cleaning, we did house washing, roof soft wash, and we did Christmas lights. So we have no lead go to waste. We go through and give them pricing for everything. Well, again, like I said, we'll talk about that. But if we're going to spend $60, $80, $100 for a lead, we want to make sure we maximize the opportunity, get as much possible from that lead as far as revenue, plus, beg them for a review, beg them to get referrals. That was a big thing for us. So these are the three major things that we're really focusing on, is making sure that, we're okay not making money in our first year or 2 years, because we're just building that base, grabbing that market share. When we find the advertising channel that we like, we're going to try to spend as much as possible in that channel, and then we're not going to leave any stone unturned, maximize every single opportunity. And that's what it takes to have a really good year. Let's open up this guy right here. Let's actually start with this. You're going to have to bear with me here. So first section is attract leads. So in the first 2 months, we were doing everything. All right. So the whole thing was like, okay, we're walking into the market. The business that I sold previous to that was in 2019. So I had about 2.5 years of not being in business. And so we wanted to see what the market is currently like. So we want to see how customers are responding to certain ads and signs and so on and so forth. So we really focused on Google ads, Facebook ads, Thumbtack, Angie's List, yard signs, flyers, door hangers, and email blasts. Facebook and Google ads were outsourced to a company. It is somebody that I've known previously, so I did have a little bit of an upper hand on our competition, I feel like, locally, because I knew the best people to do the ads for us. And that's a huge key, because again, you can blow money like crazy if you don't have a good company that does your ads. It can be really messy. You want to make sure you interview your teams that are going to do ads for you, and make sure that they have referrals that are in your industry that you can actually call up and talk to them and ask them how it's been going when that team is running ads for them. Because the proof has to be in the pudding. And if they're successful with this team, then it's very likely that you will be as well. Thumbtack and Angie's List was something that we got in pretty heavy in the very beginning. And, I don't know if you have those in the area. I'm pretty sure. Angie's List is everywhere. Thumbtack, I think, is everywhere at this point. But it's another basic thing where you just pay for a lead that comes in. The only issue is that lead is also sent to multiple vendors, and so you're competing against everybody else. Yard signs, pretty self-explanatory. We did some at highways and things like that, and then, well, not highways, but like off ramps and whatnot. And then we did yard signs on people's properties too. So if we ever do a job, or we're currently at a job, we put some stakes into the ground. We asked them to let us keep it there for about a week or two, and then we would just come by when we're in the area next time after a couple of weeks. And then we did flyers, door hangers. So we would go and flyer a ton. So we, print out 10,000 flyers, and we go door to door. We don't knock or anything like that. We just leave the flyers and door hangers at doors. We also did that at jobs. So if we do a job, we'll kind of walk the street and put on every door, we put flyers as well. And then email blast was something that we did as well. Quite simply, it is basically a list that we would buy online, and then we would just blast that list. It is something that we've had success in the past for my other businesses, and so we were want to give that a shot in this business as well. And so let's talk about what happened. So after 2 months, we focused on what brings us the best ROI, and these were the winners. Google Ads, gave us a 4 to 6x return on our ad spend, which basically means if you spend $1,000, you get $4,000 to $6,000 back. Facebook ads were 3 to 4x, Thumbtack 2 to 3x, and Angie's List 2 to 3x. So we basically cut the yard signs, the flyers, door hangers, and email blasts. Not that those things weren't working. We were getting jobs from all those sources, but for the time spent on those and the effort and communication, the kind of clients that we were getting from those sources, it just wasn't as good. Google Ads by far reigned over all the other sources that were giving us leads. And so we cut all the other ones and we focused on the Google, Facebook, Thumbtack, and Angie's List. And then, to be honest, we completely cut out Thumbtack and Angie's List after 1 year. And now we are primarily Google ads and Facebook ads. Now we also have taken a step further. Something we didn't have in the first year is sales staff. So now we have salespeople going after commercial, B2B, and growing that side of our business as well. This is primarily mostly all residential. We didn't go after commercial at all in our first year. We had some that contacted us through just referrals and things like that. But our goal wasn't to go after commercial because we wanted to kind of set our feet down in the residential areas first and then branch out for that. It's a little bit of a different strategy. We can talk more about that down the line, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. Once we have a proven strategy, we weren't scared to spend money because what was the worst that could happen? And that goes back to right here. Happy to not have great margins in the first year or two in exchange for market share. So for us, that's how we looked at it. So what was the worst that can happen? So for us, our average ticket was $800 per job. Right. So off of $800 per job, obviously you got to pay the guys, you got to pay insurances, things like that. So that brings it down. And then on top of that, you have to acquire that client, that lead, and that's where the advertising cost comes in. So for us, we were willing to spend over $100 on advertising costs per job booked. And a lot of times we were doing that. And so basically at that point, if you spend that kind of money to acquire a $800 client, your margins are pretty slim at that point. But we didn't really care because, again, we were looking towards the future. That was a huge thing for us. We didn't really care what we were going to get, our first year. We're really, really looking down the line. Our biggest thing, like I will say a lot through this video, is just to grab market share. We were walking into the market and just saying, we're going to outspend everybody and we can have no limit to what we spend because we know that if for every dollar we spend, we're going to get 4 to 6 back. And that's totally cool. And if we don't make that much money in our first year because we're spending so heavy, we can just, we can stack year on year. So this is what this line is right here. If we spend $1,000 in Google ads, we would get $4,000 to $6,000 back like clockwork. And it really was like clockwork. Like once we found, a good company to do this for us, and we were, fielding these calls and texts and emails, and then fulfilling them really well and getting referrals, and it was just working so well in that first year. Still works really well to this year. Our systems changed just a tad. Obviously, as you grow, you kind of adapt a little bit to what you're doing. Plus, our team is a lot bigger now, and our business is bigger. But in the very beginning, it was a pretty simple strategy. I mean, we ran ads, we answered the phone, we fulfilled it the best that we can. So now between all sources, we have loads of leads coming in each day, right? So this was our framework for our attract leads. This is all we were doing. Like I said, now it's a little bit more robust with, having salespeople and things like that, but this was our big thing. So this is how we got 560 jobs that first year was just this: Google ads, Facebook ads, Thumbtack, Angie's. And then from there, just begging people for, reviews and referrals. We didn't do a whole lot of SEO in our first year. We were posting some stuff on social media and whatnot. But again, our biggest thing is just walk into the market and just grab a big share. And so that's what we're doing. Now we're going to move into fulfilling leads. Super important, obviously. If you're going to get a lot of leads, you got to be able to maximize every single opportunity. And so now that we have all these coming in, we have to maximize each one, answering leads right away, which is, call, text, or email. As you'll notice more and more as we move into now 2025. I mean, for us right now, I would say most of our communication now is via text. I would say 80% of the people that we talk to are now all via text. The rest are call and email. But the big thing for us was this fact right here is 7 out of 10 close with the first company they hear from. So answer the phone. When someone calls you to do business with you, you got to answer the phone. Like, I mean, it's, you know, like for us, especially if the kind of money that we were spending on a monthly basis on advertising, if we don't answer the phone, we're losing the business. It's just like burning money. If you're just standing on top of the roof or just throwing money off the roof, that's basically what that would be like. And so for us, knowing that 7 out of 10 leads that call someone, well, like if someone picks up the phone, 70% of the time, that's the business that will close that lead. So if you're the first one to do it, 70% of the time, you will close that lead, which is huge. That's like an unfair advantage, right? So it's crazy how many companies just don't pick up the phone live or take forever to get back to your clients. It's insane. So we knew walking into the market, we're a brand new business. We didn't know anybody. We didn't have any clients. Like that was going to be our superpower, is at the moment someone calls or texts or email us, we're on it within seconds. Like we get back to them right away. Attempt to schedule an estimate ASAP. This was another one of our superpowers, especially in the very beginning. We're a little bit slower than this now. Not that we're slow. I mean, we're still very fast in everything that we do. But in the very beginning, scheduling an estimate on site was like, that's something that we just needed to do right away. And so one of our strengths was typically like we can be out there within an hour. So we figured out ways, no matter what part of town we're in. Obviously, we were hiring people. So at that point, even a technician could stop by and talk to the lead on site. Doesn't have to be salespeople. It could be you, it could be one of your techs. Like, you know, if you have really great guys who are very personable, they can go and talk to a lead and do that. So biggest thing for us was once we get on the phone with them, text or you know, a call, email, we schedule that right away and try to get out there within an hour, because we want to strike while the iron's hot. We want to be the first people to the scene. We want your business. We want to prove to them that we want your business. That was a big thing. Give them an estimate for all your services. This was a huge game changer. I actually understood this back in my second business. We started doing this. It's crazy how many companies just don't do this. And like this one right here is going to change your business. So if you have a business in pressure washing, you might have a business somewhere doing something else. If you don't give them pricing for everything that you do, you're missing out. I understand that a lot of leads, most of the leads are calling you for one specific thing. It's pretty rare for a lead to call you and they want everything done. It does happen. And those are always fun to receive. Like, hey, you know, you guys did my neighbor's house. We want everything done. I saw your website. You do this, and that. We want it all done. That's awesome. That's like the best thing you can ever hear. But if they're just calling you, so for example, for us, if they're just calling us for pressure washing their driveway, you best believe that when we show up to their house, we're going to be talking about their roof. We're going to be talking about their windows. We're going to talk about the gutters. We're going to talk about the siding. We're going to talk about the back deck. We're going to talk about Christmas lights. And we're going to have our own sheet, and we're going to fill out that sheet with all that pricing. And we're going to say, hey, Miss Johnson, right now, if you book, you know, these 3 services or these 4 services, we're going to give you a heavy discount. And we discounted 25, 30% at times, just to close a deal, especially, you know, if it's a big job, if it's, you know, it's close to another job, if it's one of those things where we can send a technician there, he's there all day, like just doing all those services, it's better for us because then we don't have to have that technician go to, you know, be in the truck traveling another 30, 40 minutes to another job. He could just be in one location and just making money all day long. And so telling people about all your services and be able to quote all the services, you have no idea how many times people would say that, oh, I had no idea you guys actually do that too, which is crazy. I mean, you got to think of in the mind of that person, because they're contacting you, let's say for, again, pressure washing the driveway. They had no idea that you clean windows because their niche specifically was pressure washing. They went to Google, they typed in pressure washing, and you popped up and like, okay, this company does pressure washing. I'm going to contact them for pressure washing. They contacted you for pressure washing. And you're like, hey, we also do windows and gutters. Oh, you guys do? I actually do need my windows now. I was actually thinking about that. Boom. And it happens time and time again. You have no idea how many times we close, like, a $500 job that was supposed to be turns into a $3,500 job. It happens all the time. And it's only because we're, over there just telling them about all the services that we provide. So like I said, give massive discounts if they book multiple services. So reward them for that. You can't just pull out the sheet and say, hey, these are all the pricing for all your services. This is what the cost would be. Would you like to book them all? There's no motivation there. But if you're there and you say, hey, we're here anyways, we're going to be cleaning this anyways, like, let's touch it. I see a little bit of moss on the roof. I see your siding is dirty on one side. Like, let's just touch all these up. Let's make the whole place look amazing. Let's get you sparkling from, from the street. Let's blind some drivers that are driving by, and we'll give you a hefty discount because we're here anyways. And that's magic. Then we beg for referrals and reviews. Obviously, referrals are massive. It's some of the best leads that you'll ever get is a referral from someone, because it's automatically a booking, because they're typically not shopping anybody else. You're the only one that's bidding on the job. It's one of the easiest thing to sell. And then reviews, obviously, if you're on Google or Yelp and any of these places, like we used to be on Angie's List on Thumbtack, like, it was huge, having those reviews when somebody can read them over. It's awesome. We've turned that into when we send out our estimates too, like, we'll have our reviews. We had some people do video reviews too. Some of our clients did video reviews. We would send that also as a video, as testimonial. All that stuff obviously is huge for your business. So getting those reviews is huge, because again, if you did this for a whole year, you begged all year for referrals and reviews, imagine what your business would be like the following year. Follow up in 6 months to see if anything needs to be refreshed or if they know anyone who can use our service. Again, it's kind of like, begging for referrals again. But also at the same time, some people want to get services done multiple times. Some people are really anal about their cleanliness of their home. And so, they want it looking pristine all the time. But sometimes as a business owner, like, oh, we just did it 6 months ago, they're probably not going to want to get it done again. You never know. I mean, we have plenty of clients who get it done quarterly, so it's one of those things. Another key thing is after the appointment. So if you're out there just cleaning, doing your thing, after the appointment, you should be booking the next appointment. So you should be saying, hey, a lot of our clients get this done quarterly. Would you like us to get this done quarterly? With a quarterly, we can give you a discount of this much. If you do it every 6 months, we give you a discount. Do you want to schedule for quarterly, or do you want to schedule for 6 months? You'd be surprised how many people are actually going to want to schedule it more often. Again, it's just having that mindset for being hungry for that revenue, being hungry and maximizing every single opportunity that you get. That's how we were able to do so well in our first year and continue to do now. All right, final thoughts to not make this video too long. So we spent about 30% of our revenue on advertising, which is a lot. Again, don't take this as like, I need to start spending 30% tomorrow. That's not what that means. It's just, this is what we were doing. If you already have a base of clients, you can probably survive, right? Like you probably survive without even advertising. But if you are wanting to grow and you want to scale and take this thing to the next level, spending a little bit more is massive. If this is one of your first years, spending 30%, it's good, but you have to make sure that you have a company that's going to give you a positive return on your investment. Spending 30% of revenue and losing money is just not what I mean and not what is intended. You have to be able to spend it, but also get a return. It's really easy to spend a lot of money when you're actually getting a return on it. It's like a money printing machine, right? So if you knew for a fact that you're going to put $100 in there and it's going to spit you back $500, you would do it all the time, right? There's no limit to how much you would want to do that. And so it's no different here. Once you find a company that can help you with advertising and give you a really good ROI on your money, you got to keep going and keep feeding that beast, because that's how you grow. And like I said, if you break even the first year, it's totally fine. And that's what it says here. Even if it meant I would break even my first business for the entire year, I was willing to do it. I played the longer game. The same lead that we paid money for will be freed next year. So again, it's just stacking people on top of each other, clients on top of each other year after year. So, if they were we had to pay for them the first year. They're free the following year, and then they're free the following year after that. And then so like, you know what I mean? All the referrals will be free too. So it's not only the client that's free, but everybody knows somebody, and people talk and people ask, and hey, your windows look really good. Did you do that yourself? Your siding, your roof looks good. Oh, I just had my roof done, blah, blah, blah. This company does it really good. People talk. Referrals are massive. So, you paid for a lead to be yours, right? Your property. You got them on in your world, and now they're going to tell their world about you as well. So it's not that you just got them, but you got this whole like ecosystem around them. Every year I'm looking at new leads the same. If I acquire 500 leads this year, most of them are mine for years to come, right? So that's how I look at leads. So every lead that comes in, I know that if I paid for you this year, you're going to be coming to me every single year. This builds on itself. In 4 years, if 70% of the leads come back for annual service, that's 1,400 customers that are mine, free and clear. That's a 7-figure revenue year. So if you break down this math, 4 years at 500 leads a year is 2,000 leads. If 70% of those leads come back, which is like, and about 60 to 70% is an average. If 70% of those leads come back, that's about 1,400 customers that are annually doing work with you. At $800 per ticket, that's 7 figures. I think it's like 1.1 or whatever it is. So that's the math. And you can do that in 4 years. You know what I mean? So, but you have to be aggressively spending and getting good ROI on your return and playing the long game. Okay. All those things have to be true. After all, business is just math. If your math works, your business will grow. It's all numbers. It's all game. That's the game. You have to know your KPIs. You have to know your key performance indicators. You have to know, if you're getting a good return, and then just scaling it. If you do that, you're gathering clients every single year. You're stacking that on top of each other. They're free the following year. They're free the following year after that. And you just keep stacking. That's good math, and your business will grow. Don't lose money in advertising. Do great work and stack year on year. So again, don't lose money on ads. Find a company that's generating you a positive return on your investment. Do great work. So fulfill properly. Don't, leave any stone unturned. Do all the things that I mentioned here, and then stack year on year. And you'll see 2 years will pass, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years will pass. And all of a sudden you have this massive book of clients and employees and so on and so forth. Maybe hard in the first year because you're spending heavy and it's, you're breaking even. If you're someone who needs income for your household, maybe you have kids and things like that, that makes it a little bit tougher because you do have to take some money home. I wasn't in that situation because I had savings from our previous sales. But if you're new, if you don't have that backing, you don't have that money sitting there, and you have a family to feed, you might have to take some with you. So maybe at that point, you're not spending 30% of your revenue on advertising. But the more you can spend at a positive ROI, the better, because that's what is going to help you grow. So we'll talk more about similar stuff like this. If this made sense to you, if you have any questions about this, leave a comment and reach me at all the socials. Oleg Dubrovsky. I should have a link tree in the description below. But feel free to reach out. Let's start a conversation. If you need help with anything else, like I said, I'm not selling a course or anything like that. I just want to help as much as possible. It's something that people have done for me, so I'm just passing it forward. And hopefully this was valuable. Hopefully you got a good amount of value. And I hope you crush it. So I'll see you next time.